Hey guys, how's it going? Was hoping that Savage would be done, but it seems like he's going a little bit long tonight. Not unusual for him. But it was an interesting subject, so I'm a little bit late. He was going over.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Coin NFTs. Was hoping
hold on
that
a
Savage
second.
would be done, but it seems like he's going a little bit long tonight. Not unusual for him.
My sound's working.
There we go. Sorry. Okay, there we go. So, the one thing I wanted to go over today, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. But what's going on in the AllCoreDevs group, in the Ethereum R&D server on Discord, is basically like reality TV. It's been fascinating to watch, to see, honestly, infighting drama going on. I think there's a lot of emotion. Somebody puts a lot of work into something for a year, and so there's a lot of emotion. Anyway, so let me kind of tell you what's going on. So tomorrow is the All Core Devs meeting. They meet, I believe, every other week on Fridays, and so there's a lot of things on the docket for tomorrow, including 1559. But there's also the Berlin fork, which is coming up in a month. Well, at least it was coming up in a month. And has a number of different EIPs that were scheduled for it, including EIP 2315. 2315 is a relatively innocuous, at least what I thought. Didn't really seem that important to me, but it seemed like it was going to build on something. Basically, it was something to create a few subroutines, which they've never, I guess, had subroutines before. And then somebody brought up earlier this week saying that what is the point of this thing? Nobody's going to use these subroutines. And so there became a lot of discussion, not only about whether or not this EIP even belonged in Berlin, but about the whole entire process. I mean, they're a month away from the Berlin fork, or at least what was supposed to be the Berlin fork. And you now have somebody introducing something that's going to have to change the code, basically removing code that was originally in the code that was tested. And so now they're talking about it may delay Berlin, from what I've seen, is about a week or maybe up to a month. I don't know. But it is fascinating. So specifically, you have one person who I believe is, hang on, let me switch over to here, is this guy Light Client, who had raised just a question, basically saying, why are we putting this into the Berlin fork if it's really not going to accomplish anything? And so there became a whole conversation about, is this adding additional complexity? Is it going to create any latency? So all these technical arguments going back and forth, while the guy who originally had championed the CIP is like, what the hell? I've been working on this for a year, and now you're bringing this up? So obviously a lot can change in a year, as we've seen, like for instance with EIP 1559. If it was introduced last summer, nobody would have thought much about it. Now obviously there's a lot of controversy about that. So anyway, he's really upset about the whole thing and just said, screw it, I'm withdrawing it. And I guess that's kind of where it's left. I'm kind of curious to see what happens tomorrow when this comes up, as to, just withdrawing it is one thing, but they're also going to have to, like I said, remove the code from the code base for this feature. And I don't know how well it was intermingled with everything, or if it's just, okay, it's its own little subroutine over here. You can just take that code out and just do a few tests. I don't know. I'm not obviously familiar with the code, but yeah, it does seem very interesting that one person, this thing was just going right through, and one person raised a question about this, and it threw the whole thing into just amazing to see how this one little question just absolutely blew up in the All Core Devs group. Pretty much everybody and anybody was commenting on it. Micah, made of tin, James, Tim Biko, I mean, pretty much, like I said, everybody, Piper. I'm trying to think. Pretty much anybody that was on the EIP call last week that was part of the dev team has commented on this. So everybody seems to be involved and is giving their opinion. So anyway, so like I said, it's fascinating. I'm very curious to see how this transpires tomorrow with the AllCoreDev call, to see if they, because that's a much more public forum. I'm kind of curious to see how, if they've come to some resolution kind of outside of Discord, not trying to air any more of their, shall we say, dirty laundry in front of everybody. I mean, that's really what it comes to. When you're talking about open source, it's all open. Anybody and everybody can see what's going on. And that's exactly what happened here over the last few days. And I actually feel sorry for the guy, Greg, who's been, spearheading this thing for a year. I mean, think about it. This has been your baby. It's not your primary job. You're doing it. I don't know if he's getting paid for it or whatever. It's not the point, but it is not his primary job. And, this was something that, he put his time and effort into, and all of a sudden it's just been kind of ripped away. One of the other really interesting things that Micah had mentioned, and this really perked my ears up, is the precedent that this is setting. So you have an EIP that's been tested, been developed, completely done, and a month before it's due to go into a fork, it gets completely derailed. I mean, that's a dangerous precedent. I mean, let's think about EIP 1559. Supposedly, Friday was kind of like, hey, is this thing going into London? Yep, it's going into London, and that was my impression, was that was kind of the message to the miners that, hey, look, this has been decided. Well, it's just been shown that nothing's decided until the fork actually occurs. That's the message that it sent to me, and that's what Micah was afraid that this was going to set a precedent of, and I don't disagree. So, anyway, it was very interesting. Let me show you a couple of things on Discord. Piper had actually, this was earlier today, had actually put in a straw poll saying, should 2315 remain in Berlin? Should it be removed from Berlin, which will delay the fork? 2315 be removed from Berlin without delaying the fork? And then we should delay the fork until we figure this out. So the winner of that was delay the fork, but it should be removed. Very few people. So you have 11, 14, 16 people. Only 3 people out of the 16 said, 3 people said you should keep it in. 5 people out of the 16 said you should keep it in or delay it until you figure this out, meaning that could possibly stay in. So easily more than 2/3 of the people wanted it removed. Anyway, very interesting. And then there's comments down below here is, Micah says not a fan of straw polls involving the people who happen to be online at a particular time of day. This is what you get when you have an open forum. This is where Greg actually hereby withdraws EIP 2315. Please remove it from the agenda. Thank you. So I'm kind of curious to see even if this comes up tomorrow, because he requested to have it removed from the agenda, but I don't see how you can, without having some sort of discussion to say officially whether it's been removed. So anyway, there's just been so much back and forth. If you want some, like I said, if you have some time to read through this, it's fascinating to see it. Like I said, the drama going back and forth. There's definitely some emotion in this. There's definitely, like I said, some people are thinking, this is just not good to be doing this close to when we're due to release a fork. And it certainly doesn't add to the reputation of Ethereum always delaying things for one reason or the other. So anyway, found the whole thing very, very fascinating. And I also see this as, um, I see this as fascinating as it relates to 1559, because, I started thinking about this more. You know, many people, so transitioning into 1559, because that'll obviously come up tomorrow as well. But, 1559 is supposed to create a better, more predictable fees. But why do we have fees in the first place? Well, the reason why we have fees in the first place is because we don't have enough supply. There isn't enough capacity on the network. So why aren't we solving that problem? Well, there are people solving that problem, and that's layer two scaling. So basically, these are basically subchains to the main chain, as I understand it. So, and there's a number of different projects that are being worked on. Connects, XDI Chain, POA Network, Optimism had some headline. I meant to actually bring it over here, but Optimism had something that they were doing on mainnet in January. Fuel, Loopring was one that I believe Bitsby Trippin brought up. So there's a lot of different projects that are being worked on to increase the capacity of Ethereum. And with this increase in capacity, the fees will drop dramatically. Miners are only getting paid too. But I think we can all agree that this is really a much better state for Ethereum to be in and much more usable, so people don't have to pay a fortune every time they want to make some sort of trade. So here's the thing is, we're talking about 1559, but we don't know what state these layers be in by the time July rolls around. So if predictable fees are an issue, then if we have a way of bringing those fees to where they're predictable to be minimal, then why are we even doing 1559 in the first place? And I could really see that coming to a head in a couple of months if some of these layer two solutions start making a lot of progress, because then we're just changing something to change something, without much real need. People that are familiar with Ethereum, use Ethereum a lot. They're going to have to relearn things. Well, how much am I, how fast is this base fee going to change? All of these things will have to be relearned. And I have not seen anything that says this is how we expect it to act. So all the traders are going to have to relearn how they're going to operate. We're going to have to pay out differently because everything will have to be on chain, as opposed to being able to fill their own blocks with their payouts. So it honestly seems like it could be a humongous change for very little benefit if these layer two solutions come to fruition. So I don't know. I could see this being done for very little reason. So at this point, I'm pretty much against EIP 1559, but not because of the reduction in miner payouts. Regardless, the layer two solutions will make that happen anyway. But because I just don't, I think it's an unnecessary. There are supply side solutions that are out there, which is what really needs to be changed. Anyway, those are my 2 cents. That's basically what I wanted to share tonight. Any questions out there? Let me take a look. Uh-oh. Probably should have been keeping track of that. Evidently, you guys have been able to hear me, but yeah, I've had detected, oh, shoot. Oh, can you guys hear me okay at least? Maybe not see me? Well, I'll go through some of the questions, and I may end up deleting this video if it's that bad, and maybe just record one. But the call tomorrow is the same time that the EIP call was. So that's at, okay, cool. All right, as long as you guys can hear me. So it's at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, 1400 UTC. So that was good until a minute ago. Great. Like I had some problems with my internet connection a few days ago, but I thought it was related to a driver update on my Wi-Fi adapter, but maybe that's not it. Anyway, I'll go through the questions and then I will let you guys have the rest of your evening. Let's see. Didn't this already happen to Prague Pow? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, this seems to be where somebody just raises an issue at the last second and everybody goes, what? Oh, that's an interesting question. As opposed to just saying, the process is this. You had your opportunity. We're not revisiting this question. It's a waste of time. That is what most not always. I've been in plenty of organizations where I worked for Motorola and I was a product manager for a software product. And let's just say that when I first took it over, there was a lot of that going on. And by the time I left, there were other problems going on at that point. But one of them wasn't somebody raising a red flag at the last second to say we shouldn't have this feature in there. If the feature was in there and it was developed and the requirements were developed and it met those requirements, we weren't going to question whether or not somebody was going to use it or not. We put it in there for a reason. Otherwise, a customer requested it. Otherwise, we would not have put it in there. So in this case, I cannot fathom how somebody develops a feature for a year which didn't have a use case for it. So that to me is unbelievable. What question are you trying to answer? This is what frustrates people present these solutions. Well, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Identify the problem. Identify the problem solution to specifically fix that problem. That's the way software development, that's the way product development should be. Anyway, it amazes me that creating something brand new that doesn't have a use case and you're creating the use case for it, but 80 to 90% of development isn't that. 80, 90% of development is actually innovating on an existing idea that customers are already using. So let's see here. Okay, it's not terrible. Okay, well, thanks for that. Okay, maybe close a few tabs. I don't have that many tabs open on this screen. But yes, I do keep quite a few tabs open, but I don't think that's the issue. I think it's my upstream. My upload is not doing so hot. Probably should have restarted the computer before I did the stream and double checked my upload. But lesson learned. I'm still learning how to do this. But hey, appreciate it. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I do answer questions. Like I said, if you want to see some possible fireworks, be on the AllCoreDev's call. That was the other thing I was going to show. The Ethereum Foundation is where the AllCoreDev calls they basically live streamed on the Ethereum Foundation channel. So not on the Cat Herders page. So this is where you can find it. Also, if you are in the Ethereum R&D Discord, you can go up to AllCoreDevs. I did notice the last AllCoreDevs meeting that made of tin. James, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he actually posts it here just like 10, 15 minutes prior to the meeting, the link to the call. So we should be able to see it here in the AllCoreDevs channel. So, alrighty, guys. I'm not mining actually, Carlos. I turn off the mining when I'm streaming, so that's definitely not the issue. But yeah, so don't worry about that. Can't say that I've ever tried that. I was told that definitely don't ever do that because for various reasons. The computer would probably crash anyway. So anyway, you said need more RAM. Actually, speaking of that, I do. I actually am going to be upgrading possibly this weekend, upgrading from 16 gig to 32 gig. Maybe that'll help. I basically was doing it for other reasons, but anyway. Yeah, looks like they're putting an easy band-aid on a big cut. Yeah. Now, with that said, supposedly they have changed the EIP process so that this wouldn't happen in the future, but time will tell. Obviously, this is not the first time this has happened, and I'll be surprised if it's the last. So, at any rate, thanks guys for showing up. I appreciate it. Sorry for the choppy video and the bad audio.